What's up, everybody? Davis and Steven here from the WIT Digital team with our Director of Client Strategy, Ryan Cook. And today we are joined by Mary Anglin, owner of Office Source 365. Today we're going to dive into Service Titan and look at customizing sales and marketing reports and which KPIs are most valuable. If you're still using legacy reports, this is going to be the video for you. Mary and Ryan are both experts when it comes to Service Titan and utilizing it to make informed, data-driven decisions. So Ryan, let's kick it off with you and take a look at the reporting section here.
What I'm going to walk you guys through real quick is creating a report that's going to give you a chock full of data that's going to inform you both how your marketing's doing, but also maybe some things that can bring up to light some internal things in regards to close rates and that kind of stuff that you guys can work on internally to help make more money. So, create report, pretty intuitive there. If you feel like going through that process, you can. Now from here, you're going to select either sales, opportunities, and revenue or marketing. Either one's fine. I live in the marketing world, so I'm going to select marketing just naturally. Campaign summary is really what I'm looking to create here. Now it sounds like, okay, this is going to just give me marketing information, but it gives you so much more. So the campaign summary report, once you click on that, it's going to give you an opportunity to select what data you want this report to provide to you. So the first thing I do want to talk to the group about essentially is completed revenue versus total sales. Now, some folks out in the marketing world and within the home service industry world might be a little bit gray when it comes to the definition of these two. Really, total sales is estimates out that haven't closed, completed revenue, or closed jobs. And so the difference between those two is really what's going to drive your total conversion rate. And I know, Mary, you've got a lot of thoughts on this process. Do you want to say anything in regards to those two pieces?
Yeah, absolutely. It can be really confusing for a lot of people that are looking at it and going, well, my sales are so much higher than my revenue, and I don't understand where that money's going because I'm looking at my bank account and I'm not seeing it. And so the thing is that sometimes if your total sales is significantly higher than your completed revenue and you're not seeing it catch up, right? Because once you sell the estimate and you know that it's going to close, that's when it moves into your sales. Once that job actually completes and you've received that revenue, that's when it's under completed revenue. So during that interim process, you're going to see a gap. But the key is that it should catch up. And if it doesn't catch up, if your sales is always higher, then something in your process is wrong and you're probably having duplicate revenue reported.
Yeah, exactly right. And a lot of times from a marketing vendor standpoint, I'm seeing that and maybe my numbers aren't adding up to what I'm thinking they should be. And I see that forces me to have that conversation with the business owner. Hey, is there something that we can do to help with this process? Can I send you some recordings and those types of things to help you guys tighten those bolts to help that conversion rate increase so that you can move more of those dollars into the completed revenue bucket? So moving through this, there are a ton of capabilities in here, but I'm going to run through this and pull a couple things that I think are important in regards to identifying how your marketing's doing, but also how does your internal structure support any of your outbound marketing efforts. So campaign basics, pretty straightforward, right? So we don't really need anything else from there. Now, when it comes to call metrics, this is a very important section. So inbound versus leads versus manual, you can do existing customer or, existing customers, where is it? So you can also look at unbooked calls. There's a lot of different things you can do in here to look at what's being identified as inbound or manually booked. So then we go into manual calls booked, inbound calls booked, total jobs booked. Now, if this other information is going to help guide you to what it is that you're trying to understand, perfect. I also always going to want to look at existing customers versus new customers. This is a big topic. We could actually spend an entire hour talking about this specific subject, but it's important to know and at least bubble that information up to get an idea about it so that you're having those conversations with your marketing vendor. And frankly, if your marketing vendor is not having these types of conversations with you, they're asleep at the wheel. They're not brought into your world. They're not going to really understand how their efforts, when they make optimizations, impact your internal and your bottom line. Now, one of the things too that we just talked about in regards to what we want to bring up in this specific video was, how do we utilize a campaign summary report to help us internally with close rates and those different types of things? Well, here's that section. So I'm essentially going to take all this information. So this is going to bubble up, what tech is closing the best, which CSR is closing the best, those different types of things to help you make informed internal decisions when you're tightening the screws in your four walls. So from there, I've got a lot of information. Now you can always come back and edit this further. So I'm going to name this. I'm always going to put our brand name in it, but I'm just going to call it what it is. It's marketing. I'm not going to, for the sake of time, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I'm going to share it with all the same people. Boom. Okay, from here, so this, it's April 6th today. Your marketing vendor should be looking at the ROI or the return on ad spend, the ROAS that they created for you in Q1, because March is over now. So from here, this is what I would do, is just run the quarterly report and use this information to back into the ROI or the return on ad spend for Q1. Run report. And from here, you can look at a lot of different things. And one of the things too that gets missed is the daily cost section here. That's one of the things that's really going to help kind of guide you on a general idea of what your return on investment is. With things like pay-per-click or Google guaranteed local service ads, right? You don't necessarily know exactly what your monthly spend is going to be in any given month because you're in a seasonal business. What I recommend doing is understanding what you and your vendor or what you're doing internally. Let's just talk about pay-per-click. What are you going to spend for the year? So let's say it's $100,000, divide that by 365 and put that into the daily cost for that campaign. That'll at least get you to a general idea of what your ROI is hovering around in regards to campaign summary reports. Mary, do you have anything to add to that specific point?
Yeah, I think so. So you mentioned this when we were talking earlier, that it's important not to lean on that and that's the only information that you pull about your marketing campaigns. Pull your actual costs and divide it by your actual data that you're getting in ServiceTitan, because you are going to want to be able to know your average ticket on that campaign. You're going to want to know your the price per job booked, your price per lead. So you put your daily cost in there so it gives you a general idea, because dirty data is better than no data, but realize that it is pretty dirty and you are going to have to clean it up, go back in and get your actuals. And so I'd say take some time and do that as well. It's going to be important.
Yeah.
And Ryan, I want to add something here, or I want to get you guys input on something here. So we're in the campaign or the report creation section. I want to point out that, when we onboard new clients, even, 10, $20 million home service companies, a lot of times what we find is the call tracking data, the way it's set up is incorrect. So just, take time to go back and just make sure that the basics of like your call tracking is actually set up correctly. Test it a couple of times, have your marketing agency look at it, because if that data is not right, then all of this stuff is, kind of worthless to some extent.
That's a great point. And, I can quickly kind of just run into that real quick, just to give you a quick guide on how you do that. So, if you just go to the settings button up here in the top right and type in campaign, you can take a look at how your campaigns are set up. And from here, you can also build new campaigns. When you build new campaigns, this is where you're actually going to tie that cost in. This is that daily cost that I was talking about. So for if I was doing, for this example, setting up a new WIT digital SEO campaign, right? I'm going to put that in there as WIT digital SEO. It's going to be for all business units. And then let's say, just for simplicity's sakes, that it's $3,000 a month. So I would put, whatever 3,000 divided by 30. So what was that, $100 or was that $10? Or whatever it may be in here to give you a scope of your daily costs. I'm not going to hit run here because we already have one set up in this campaign, but it's super simple to set that up. Now, the next thing you do after that is you're actually going to set up the phone number, because you have to do the campaign first, and then you'll do the phone number. So from here, you would just add new number, and then you would tie it to the campaign as you go through this process. So that's priority number one, mission critical, like Stephen just said, is your marketing vendor has to look at that stuff and ensure that that's on point, because otherwise their KPIs and the metrics that they're looking at are not going to speak the same language as what you're looking at from your end in service type.
Yep.
So,
very important.
So coming back here, you'll see for this specific example, I've set up this one, I think it was several months ago, about $170 per day. So for the given time period in Q1, we can get an idea of like, okay, what are the KPIs that I care about? ROI, roughly a 12-to-1, which is phenomenal, by the way. No, patting my own back there, I guess, a little bit, but that's okay. And then the other information that we were talking about, unique versus manual versus inbound versus total. And then, the revenue leaders and the technician information. A lot of this, it's not going to solve those internal gaps that maybe are happening, but it'll at least bubble up that information for you to maybe work with that marketing vendor to help you get down to the nitty gritty of how do we utilize this information to help me or you, business owner, internally to help your close rates and those different types of things. So these campaign summary report is just chock full of great information.
And Mary, I want to get your thoughts just even more broadly than marketing on how you can use these reports to track your overall sales opportunity and be more informed from just a business side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, the reporting module can be really overwhelming if you go in there. But so what I found is that if you're in a state of overwhelm when it comes to reporting and pulling your numbers, then it creates a freeze effect and you just don't look at them at all because you're like, I have no idea how to deal with it and I'm not going to do it. But knowing your numbers and looking at your numbers every day, every week, every month is so important to be able to make active, knowledgeable decisions. So every time that you sign that check to go to your marketing company, just realize that there's work on the back end that could be done that could make those marketing dollars more useful. And some of that is going to be to look at your modular dashboard. If you don't have your modular dashboard turned on, do it. So you can see your prior year to current year. You can see your weekly trends. Depending on what you're looking at, ServiceTitan has given us a lot of this information that's really very helpful. Like, so here you are on the modular dashboard. If you'll hover over one of those dots on your 26-week trend, it's actually going to show you, in more detail the dates that it's looking at. And if you're looking at your month trend, if you'll click over to your month trend, and then you hover over that column, it's going to show you prior year versus this year, which is just, to me, very valuable information to understand what you're looking at. So knowing those numbers and taking the time to look at them is really important. And in the reports screen, you can really live under sales opportunities and revenue. Any information that you want to pull about technician performance, call center performance, business unit performance, how my technicians doing between maintenance versus repair, all of that information is going to be right there under sales opportunities and revenue. So if you get into the reports screen and it seems overwhelming, live in that tab. And that way you can really just narrow it down to the KPIs you want to see, and you can start to schedule those reports.
Cool. And you can also get them delivered to email, right? So you can
Absolutely.
do it weekly, daily, whatever makes sense.
Yep. Once you create the report, then it'll give you the option to schedule that report at whatever interval you want, covering whatever date range you want. So I always want previous month to hit my inbox on the 1st. I always want my previous week to hit my inbox on Monday morning, because that's when I like to see it. So that's how I send it up.
Man, that is awesome. Well, cool. I think this is a great place to start for those. Again, if you're still using legacy reports or feeling overwhelmed in ServiceTitan, hopefully this gives you a good jumping point. And I'm sure we're going to have more information to follow. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to the WIT team at ask@witdelivers.com. You can reach out to Mary. Mary, I don't know, feel free to plug anywhere that people can find you as well.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook under Outbound 360, or you can email me at mary@officesource365.com.
Awesome. Sweet. Yeah. And you can check out witdelivers.com as well. And appreciate everybody listening in here. And like I say, there'll be more to come. So have an awesome rest of your day.